The moment the incident broke out, Carter instinctively pushed me aside to shield his first love. Afterwards, we argued and broke up. Carter, disappointed, said, "You could protect your teacher, so why not Betty? Betty is a doctor, she'll be using a scalpel her whole life." I told him to get lost. The chaos of the incident was sudden, and the entire department fell into disarray. "Run." The doctors rushed to protect the patients, and I recalled my teacher saying that when it happens, run behind the machines. Those things are worth more than our lives. I decisively grabbed a little girl who had lost her spirit and ran toward the equipment, but someone pulled me back. It was Carter. I thought he would protect me, but instead, he pushed me out. I stumbled, regained my balance, and saw a man with a knife charging at me, shouting, "I'm going to kill you rotten doctors." Dr. Dan immediately pulled me behind him. "Darlene, are you stupid? Everyone else is running away, and you're running toward him." I opened my mouth to explain, but all I heard was a scream. "Ah, it hurts." It was Betty, she had been stabbed. I froze, feeling dread, thinking if it hadn't been for Dr. Dan, it would have been me. Carter, what was he trying to do? Soon, the security stopped the assailant. Betty lay on the ground, her blood staining the white coat. Carter, panic-stricken, pushed through the crowd and cradled her. "Betty, are you okay? Don't sleep. Betty, wake up," he shouted, pale-faced. "Quick, bring a stretcher." "Carter, if I die, will you care?" Before getting on the stretcher, Betty placed her hand on Carter's face and said this. Everyone looked at me because I was Carter's girlfriend. Betty had been stabbed in the leg, the wound wasn't deep, and she was mostly okay. I leaned against the wall, watching the two of them in the ward, lost in each other's sympathy. Carter stayed by Betty's side until she woke up. There had been rumors in the department that they were high school classmates and first loves. I asked Carter, and he said they were just ordinary friends, ordinary classmates. But I had never seen him so gentle and cautious, afraid to make too much noise and scare Betty. "Does it hurt?" "Yes," Betty sniffled. "I thought I'd never see you again." Carter tightly held her hand and kissed it. "Betty, I'd rather it was me who got stabbed." Hearing this, Betty's tears fell freely. "Actually, I came to this hospital for you. Carter, let's get back together. I can't bear the days without you, they're unbearable. Those times we had, they were wonderful. They truly were wonderful, wonderful enough that no one noticed me. Dr. Darlene, please step aside." A nurse behind me, holding a tray, cautiously spoke up. "I need to change Betty's dressing." Only then did the two of them notice me. Carter quickly pulled his hand back. "Darlene, what are you doing here?" I suppressed my anger and heartache, trying to act calm. "Sorry to interrupt your rekindled romance." "Darlene, let me explain." "Explain what?" I turned, my eyes red. "Explain how you lied to me, saying you were just ordinary friends. Explain how you're about to rekindle your old feelings, and my presence disturbed you." I took a deep breath, trying to control my emotions. "Or explain, did you intentionally push me out to take the hit for her?" Carter was speechless. I was too flustered to see clearly. I sneered, "Really?" He fell silent and, after struggling for a while, explained, "She's a surgeon, she needs the scalpel." I was angrily amused. "What about me? Did you forget I'm also a doctor and need to use a scalpel? You're in gynecology, it's not like you're using one all the time." Seeing I was about to explode, Carter quickly pressed my shoulders, trying to soothe me with an unusually gentle voice. "Darlene, I'll protect you. I was just stalling for time, nothing will happen, besides, security will arrive soon." Stalling for time with my life? What ridiculous logic. I couldn't take it anymore and slapped him. "Carter, I think there's nothing left to say. Let's break up." He looked at me in disbelief, then, after a moment of calm, replied with an unusually cool expression, "Darlene, you know I'm telling the truth. She returned from abroad, she's a specially invited doctor at the hospital, and in terms of skill, you really can't compare to her. I think no hospital or doctor would want to ruin a surgeon's career. Your teacher, isn't she the best example? She can't use a scalpel anymore. You protected your teacher before, this time for Betty, it's the same. Mentioning my teacher silenced me. Carter shook his head in disappointment. I've taught you so much, yet you're still so immature, unable to see the bigger picture. Betty is a doctor, if she gets hurt, her life is ruined. So that's why you pushed me to take the hit? I found it laughable. Then why not take the hit for her yourself? Carter paused for 2 seconds. Darlene, do you want me to get hurt? I need to use a scalpel too. You said you hoped I could become an excellent surgeon. I wouldn't want that, I replied calmly. Darlene? He said, anger rising. Is your heart made of iron? Not wanting to see me hurt but willing to see Betty hurt, how could it be so ridiculous? Carter was 3 years my senior. He was my senior, we met at a class reunion, and he was an invited guest from the class. At the top hospital, I heard he was excellent, and the teachers liked him a lot. We, the soon-to-be interns, eagerly asked him questions. He showed no impatience at all and even exchanged phone numbers with many of us before leaving. He was especially polite, saying, "Feel free to ask me anything you don't understand." Initially, he was just someone on my list. Until I began my internship at the hospital and found out the teacher in charge of us had a great relationship with him. Whenever I didn't understand something, I'd ask him a few questions, and over time, we became familiar. At that time, I was assigned to obstetrics, and the work was so busy, I barely had time to eat. When appendicitis suddenly struck and my teacher was at a seminar, no one could attend to me. Carter called his teacher and performed surgery on me late at night. He even arranged for a nurse to take care of me, being thorough in his actions. My parents weren't around, and in a strange city, facing a stable and responsive guy, falling in love was only a matter of time. When I was discharged, I invited him to the cafeteria for a meal. To my surprise, 2 teachers saw us and joked, "Since you're both single, why not date each other?" I bit my chopsticks and exchanged an awkward smile with him. Little did I know that a week later, Carter confessed to me. "Dr. Darlene, actually I've been thinking for a long time about what I should say to you. I remember that night the moon was particularly round and bright. Seeing you in pain, squatting on the ground, I thought this girl was so pitiful. Watching you pretend to be okay while talking to your parents, acting tough. I felt really sorry for you. Dr. Darlene, I may be busy, but I still have time for romance. Would you like to date me?" That night's moonlight was truly beautiful, the evening breeze gently lengthened his shadow. He was gentle, rational, calm, and considerate, too perfect as a boyfriend. After a year of dating, we rented a place near the hospital to live together. On our off days, we studied thick medical terminology, learned case studies, and watched medical videos from experts together. Every day, we bought lots of grapes to practice, and he taught me how to stitch wounds more beautifully. We learned together, worked hard together, and grew together, providing emotional support for each other, with hardly any arguments. I thought we were happy. Until half a year ago, when Betty came and rumors began to swirl around the hospital. I didn't believe it. I thought Carter loved me, even if Betty were truly his first love, he would handle it rationally. Because in front of me, he was the embodiment of reason. But this incident shattered the dynamics between the 3 of us. I felt lost and absurd. So this was Carter's true self, calm, rational, cold, selfish, not loving me. I no longer recognized him. The Carter who loved and cared for me had unknowingly changed. No, perhaps it was just that I didn't understand him well enough. Maybe the reason Carter once felt sorry for me was because he pitied Betty, who was all alone in a foreign country with no one to care for her. Suddenly, I felt tired. I looked at Carter, my voice calm. "Carter, let's break up." "Do we have to break up?" Carter's face darkened, his mood clearly bad. "Darlene, you're upset right now, and I don't want to argue with you. I understand that any woman facing their partner's first love might act irrationally, might not be calm. Take some time to cool off, think it over. After that, decide whether you really want to break up. If you still insist on breaking up, I'll respect your decision." Carter appeared to be reasoning with me, acting rational and gentle, even lowering his stance. Yet, in his words, he painted me as irrational. I smiled. Actually, you want to break up too, don't you? You want to get back together with Betty. Keeping up this act will only make me sick. Yeah, since Dr. Darlene already said it, Carter, you're a grown man, stop being so wishy-washy. I turned around to see Dr. Dan lounging nearby, clearly watching the drama unfold. Am I wrong? He said. Clinging on like this isn't what adults do. Carter's face turned green. The hospital and police were investigating the medical incident. All the medical staff present had to cooperate and give statements. I said, I'm not a surgeon. I'm a gynecologist. I was off work and came to find my boyfriend for dinner, no, ex-boyfriend. Then I ran into. After recounting what had happened, I hesitated, then spoke firmly. There's something else I need to address. Go ahead, Dr. Darlene, someone said. I had already hidden, but Dr. Carter pushed me toward the troublemakers. Later, he said he did it because he didn't want Dr. Betty to get hurt. I believe this was intentional harm. The leaders exchanged glances. One of them stood up suddenly. Dr. Darlene, is that true? It is. I have a recording. The leader thought for a moment. Give me the recording. We'll work with the police and make sure you get an explanation. Not long after I left, the leader told the police, let us handle this internally. In the afternoon, Carter was called into the office. When questioned, Carter remained extremely calm. No, Darlene is my girlfriend. I only tried to pull her away, but accidentally pulled too hard. Even if the recording is real, what I said is true. I just wanted to protect an excellent doctor. Is that wrong? She's brave. Once, she even stepped in to protect her teacher. Why is it any different when she does it for a colleague? I didn't know what was happening in the office. At noon, I was eating lunch in the cafeteria. Dan sat across from me with his tray. A colleague teased, Darlene, since when are you so close with Dr. Dan from cardiac surgery? Dan wasn't shy about it. Her brother's a friend of mine. Oh, so there's a connection, someone said. I laughed along. I only found out recently myself. So, do we get benefits from being friends with Darlene? Dan joked, next time you bring up Darlene's name, I'll give you a free checkup. Sounds good. We won't hold back, then. We kept chatting as we ate, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw Carter walking over with a lunchbox. It was obvious he was bringing food to Betty. But instead of heading toward the door, he walked straight toward me. Darlene, can we talk? There's nothing to talk about. We've already broken up. I was blunt. Everyone around us went quiet, eyes widening in curiosity. Only Dan remained unfazed, still eating. Hurry up and eat. It'll get cold, he said. Carter glanced at Dan, his face darkening. So, you're with him now? Is that why you broke up so quickly? Carter. The sound of my metal spoon clattering onto the tray was sharp, drawing even more attention. I said, don't assume everyone's as filthy-minded as you. We broke up because of Betty. Dr. Betty from general surgery. She's your first love, and your feelings for her are about to reignite. You're conflicted, torn, and I don't want to see you suffer. So, I chose to step aside. Well said. Dan applauded. No love triangles. That's moral. Carter's expression darkened even further. Darlene, are you humiliating me? No, I'm just telling the truth. I paused. Do you want me to be more direct? You pushed me. Darlene. Carter's voice was filled with restrained anger, but he quickly returned to his usual rational demeanor. I'll say it again, I'm not with Betty. Please, respect her. Oh. He adjusted his glasses. Also, you always stand on principle, never backing down. Do you never feel embarrassed when your dignity is trampled? Don't you care about what others think, watching from the sidelines? That was the kind of person Carter was. He liked to handle private matters behind closed doors. In the past, when we argued, I'd turn to my friends and cousin, hoping they could see the situation from an outsider's perspective. But Carter found out. He told me, we should settle things between ourselves. Don't let others see us as a joke. My friends and cousin are outsiders? To me, they are, he said. By this point, I realized I had finally seen Carter's true nature. When things weren't in his favor, they should be dealt with internally. But if they hurt me, it was fine to broadcast them. Fine. I would wait for the hospital to give me an explanation. If they didn't, I wouldn't sit idly by. The quiet atmosphere was broken by mocking laughter. If you're going to do it, why be afraid of people talking? Carter shot a cold look at Dan. Dr. Dan, I wasn't speaking to you. Stay out of it. Dan raised his hands in surrender, laughing helplessly. All right. But please, stop bullying my little sister. She's young and new to society. She can't play your games. You. I looked at Carter. Enough talking. I'm going to finish my meal. And please, don't come looking for me anymore. Carter gave me a long, deep look before turning and leaving. Dan suddenly asked, Dr. Darlene, have you moved out yet? Not yet. I've been on duty recently and haven't had time to go back. Then hurry and move out. Make room for the mistress. Come on, I'll help you move. I saw Carter's back stiffen noticeably. But he didn't turn around. That night, I wasn't on duty, so I went back to pack my things. Carter was there, too. We'd both been busy with work, so we hadn't cleaned in days. A thin layer of dust covered the table. I folded my clothes and packed them into boxes. Carter leaned against the balcony, his expression unreadable, but he said nothing. I didn't have much, and of course, I didn't take any of the shared items. Once I finished packing, I called Dan. Dan, I'm done. After hanging up, I sat on the couch, lost in thought. I'd lived here for so long, and now I was leaving. Oddly enough, I felt a bit reluctant. Dan texted me that he was downstairs. Just as I opened the door, Carter asked, What's your relationship with Dan? Nothing. So, you've already found someone new? Shameless. Alright, I'm shameless. Carter walked over. Darlene, I'm asking you one last time, are you sure you're walking out that door today? I'm sure. His expression grew darker. Then don't come back. Of course. He coldly said, You're wearing clothes I bought. Oh, right. Without hesitation, I stripped off the clothes and threw them in his face. Take them back. Do you think I care? And don't think I owe you anything. I've returned every gift you've given me. Here's yours, take it back. Carter's face was livid as he rummaged through things and tossed them at me. I didn't catch them. Instead, I kicked them straight into the trash can. Then I grabbed my suitcase and headed out. Carter suddenly blocked my path with his foot. What are you doing? Do we really have to end things like this? He grabbed my hand tightly, his voice unusually soft. Darlene, I didn't push you on purpose. Can you ask the hospital and police to drop the case? Do you really want me to lose my job, Darlene, dear? Ah, so that's how it is. Of course, a rational person wouldn't make pointless moves. Just as I was about to speak, Carter's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, hesitated for 2 seconds, and answered. I'm busy right now. Carter, where are you? The room was too quiet, so quiet that I could hear Betty's weak and soft sobs on the other end of the phone. I'm in so much pain I can't sleep. Do you think I'll end up disabled? Will I ever be able to walk again? Carter. I smiled faintly and said clearly, Why are you being so self-effacing in front of me? Hurry back to the hospital to be with Betty, she's the one who truly needs you. Carter, am I interrupting you and Dr. Darlene? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to, I didn't listen any longer. Just then, Dan came up, Is that all the stuff? The elevator took us straight to the basement, and we loaded the things into the car. I saw Carter's car. He must be going to see Betty, how ridiculous. Are you taking a day off tomorrow? Why would I take a day off? Sometimes I really can't keep up with Dr. Dan's way of thinking. To celebrate. Dan said, his eyes sparkling, leaving a jerk like that deserves a proper celebration, doesn't it? Let's go, I'll take you out for some fun. Dan really knows how to have a good time. It was definitely a lot of fun. Pick whichever one you like. Faced with a variety of boys, I couldn't help but laugh and threw a pillow at Dan's head. Dan quickly dodged. You throw one, I'll find you 10. Darlene, am I good to you? I couldn't help but chuckle. Yeah, you're great. He raised an eyebrow, winking, right? You should smile more. I was taken aback when he poured 2 glasses of wine. If you're not into boys, how about I find you some cute girls? And then? Dan really found me a bunch of adorable girls. They called me babe one after another, making me dizzy. Having drunk too much, I vaguely recalled an incident from years ago. I was perfectly healthy, and the moment I came to your hospital, I got sick. I see you all just want money. Something needs to be said about today's incident. Are you refusing to do anything about it? Just like now, patients venting their frustration for no reason. My teacher was so innocent. She was nearing retirement and had already been stabbed several times. It was winter then, and after my shift, I had changed into my down jacket, ready to leave when I rushed in at the sight of the scene. I was glad I was bundled up and wore fluffy gloves. I grabbed the bloody knife and didn't let go, even if it killed me. My teacher was saved. Later, I ended up in gynecology. My hands seemed fine, but they shook when holding a scalpel. My teacher lay in the ICU, crying and scolding me for my impulsiveness. Later, Carter encouraged me, holding my hand as I gripped the scalpel over and over again. Now, a boyfriend who loves me so much has turned my past bravery into a reason to hurt me. Because I blocked once, what's the difference in blocking again? I covered my face, tears streaming through my fingers. Someone gently patted my back. Cry it out, once you're done, it'll be over. Seeing I didn't respond, he continued with his actions, but remained silent. Once I had cried enough, I peered out from Dan's embrace and awkwardly scratched my head. Sorry, I got your clothes dirty. Dan moved a bit away from me and casually poured a cup of tea. Don't mention it, it's my duty to take care of you on behalf of your brother. As for the clothes, I'll get your brother to reimburse you later. I could only smile and staggered off to the bathroom. Be careful. As I approached, I overheard a few girls chatting. That couple is really something. Yeah, when his girlfriend is upset, he comes to us girls to cheer her up. They say they have to make her happy. I'm a bit envious. I leaned against the wall and couldn't help but laugh softly, both amazed and helpless. On the day Betty was discharged, a lot of reporters came to the ward for interviews. I'm not afraid of medical disputes, I'm just afraid I won't be able to operate again. I hope to recover quickly, I have many patients waiting for me. When asked how she viewed the patient who caused the medical dispute, Betty paused for a moment and said sincerely, I don't blame him, everyone has their struggles. It's inevitable to make mistakes in life. This segment went viral online. The beautiful doctor is so kind and gentle. She once treated me, she's incredibly patient. She's the one who operated on my dad. At first, I was worried because she looked so young, but her skills are really impressive. If something really happens, we'll lose another good doctor. Damn those medical disputes. At the end of the interview, Betty confessed her feelings to Carter. The whole department knew that Betty was Carter's first love. First love, pure moonlight, such a beautiful youthful time. Naturally, Carter and Betty got back together and even posted it on Instagram. The sun was shining brightly, and the girl in a hospital gown was lying on his lap, her face covered with a mystery novel. Her neck was bare, adorned with a delicate necklace. Carter doesn't like me wearing necklaces. He thinks a clean neck is best, wearing flashy necklaces is just a burden, especially in case of a medical incident. But once I step into the hospital building, I don't wear any jewelry at all. Now I realize, pure moonlight is just pure moonlight. It's flawless, beautiful, and innocent. Nothing a later arrival does can change that. It's wrong. I quietly gave a thumbs up, indicating I understood. And then Dan struck first. A bitch deserves a scum, it's a match made in heaven. Colleagues I get along with quickly chimed in below. Holding my phone, I was moved to tears, laughing and crying at the same time. Amid the laughter, I found I wasn't even angry anymore. Maybe it wasn't worth it, Carter wasn't worth my anger and heartache anymore. Recently, I've been helping in obstetrics and have followed several surgeries. By the end of the day, I was so tired I couldn't stand up straight. After finishing at dawn, I sat directly on the floor to rest. Dr. Darlene, here you go. A nurse handed me a small bread roll and some milk. I tore it open and took a bite. The little nurse said, "It's from Dr. Dan, he came to find you this afternoon but didn't see you." Thanks. The nurse hesitated, so. Carter is really with Betty now? And he pushed you away. The news spread? Everyone knows, they're just curious how it'll be handled. Carter is really overstepping, he seems perfectly normal otherwise. After all this time, I had a bad feeling in my gut, fearing a cold treatment. Sure enough, in the afternoon, I was called in to observe Betty's surgery. When I arrived, Betty was in the middle of a pre-op conversation with the patient and their family. Whatever she said made the family tearful. "Dr. Betty, please, we're counting on you." Betty replied, "I'll do my best." The patient needs to have confidence and maintain a good mindset. The surgery went perfectly, beautifully. I watched coldly, unaware when Carter had arrived. He said to me, "Want to be a doctor like her? Just putting in effort isn't enough." So what? I retorted lightly, "So I need to shield her from harm." He shrugged it off, "I don't think that's necessary." I almost thought Carter had a moment of conscience. The next second, he continued, "But I believe one must have a spirit of dedication. Sometimes you have to admit that everyone admires those who excel. Those with talent are always viewed through a filter of admiration and professional halo. If something happens to Betty this time, and she can never hold a scalpel again, knowing she could save many lives, but because of this incident, those people lose their hope of survival." He paused, looking at me clearly. "Darlene, you really don't feel guilty? She's an excellent doctor, she deserves love and care." "Fuck you, get lost." After the surgery, I, Carter, Betty, and the supervisor went to the office for a meeting. The first thing they said to me was, "Dr. Darlene, you might have made a mistake in this matter." Carter explained that he was just trying to pull you back, but didn't expect it to backfire. I looked at Carter in disbelief. "Carter, you're terrifying, daring to act, but not to take responsibility." Carter retorted, "Darlene, aren't you terrifying too? You recorded our breakup. I just wanted to have evidence for later to clarify who's right and who's wrong. People will side with the stronger party." I said, "No, they'll side with public opinion." At that moment, Betty spoke softly, "Dr. Darlene, do you have a persecution complex? Clearly, I'm the one who got hurt, yet you say Carter hurt you to protect me." Well, I understood the situation, and it wasn't too surprising. I relaxed against the back and scanned the varied expressions of the others. "So what's the outcome?" "Just a misunderstanding." "Fine." I stood up. "Since the hospital can't provide a fair explanation, I will report it to the police." Carter, angry and embarrassed, said, "Darlene, do you really want to make this difficult for me? I know you're taking revenge on me and Dr. Betty, but can you calm down?" Betty chimed in, "Yeah, it was just a little push. Besides, nothing really happened. Dr. Betty is right, you're young and overreacting. Isn't this just the current trend of workplace reforms? The younger generation really can be too much." Others added, "Darlene, calm down, Carter is also an excellent doctor. Whether it's Dr. Betty, Carter, or you, it's all a loss for the hospital. Let's discuss it reasonably, we all work in the same hospital, no need to make it so tense." I asked, "Is the hospital covering for Carter?" What Darlene said, "I believe it's not covering up, it's just to keep the peace." I took off my ID badge, then I choose to resign. A hospital like this is not worth staying in. "Darlene." Carter's teacher chased after me. I turned around. Teacher Frank said, "Even if Carter is at fault, he shouldn't have acted that way." "But Darlene, have you forgotten how good he's been to you? When you had appendicitis, he begged me to help. Every year on your birthday, he would ask for leave to celebrate with you. Can you, for the sake of your teacher and me, not pursue Carter's responsibility?" Mentioning the teacher made me pause, then I looked up stubbornly and said, "I haven't forgotten why he pushed me, he chose to hurt me. Doesn't he fear for my life? Teacher, I respect you, but I don't regret my decision." Teacher Frank, seeing I was unmoved, spoke with a hint of anger. Do you really not leave him any face? This is no different from cutting off someone's livelihood or killing their parents. Darlene, if you want to stay in the hospital, you need to be more forgiving. Our conversation got a bit loud, and a few people echoed, yeah, Darlene, for the sake of your past good times, don't make it so tense. It's not like anything serious happened, don't be so serious. People really can't be too serious, if you are, you lose. I stopped and looked around. I'd rather you all stay out of it than preach about being magnanimous. Yeah, preaching magnanimity is just asking for trouble. I agree. Two quiet voices came from the corner. The atmosphere grew awkward, and no one knew what to say. Well, I still have patients to see. Let's go, it's time to clock out. Everyone left, and I turned back into the hallway, sitting down and rubbing my eyes. My eyes were so swollen and painful, probably from being on duty too much lately. Dan pushed the door open and sighed helplessly. Darlene, you're a doctor. Don't you know you shouldn't rub your eyes so hard? I turned back, and he handed me a steam eye mask. Try this, I wear it whenever my eyes feel uncomfortable. Thanks. I took it and sat quietly, lost in thought. Dan sat down next to me and suddenly asked, have you noticed something missing from me? Missing? What? I curiously looked him over. His handsome face was covered by a mask, his neatly pressed lab coat, with a row of pens always in his pocket. On the other side of the pens, he didn't have his ID badge anymore. I was stunned. You can't be what I think, right? Uh-huh. He huffed proudly. In a hospital like this, it's better not to stay. I was even more shocked. Did you hear? Not just me, several doctors heard, and they really admire you. I sighed. What's the use of admiration? If they had dealt with it properly, I wouldn't have wanted to escalate it to this point. I support you. I tentatively asked him, why are you being so nice to me? Perhaps my gaze was deep enough, his beautiful peach blossom eyes curved, and the smile under the mask widened. Of course, a big brother should take care of his little sister, silly. Dan, you're not being honest. I paused. Do you like me? He froze for a second and laughed helplessly. Why are you so smart? I exhaled. Sorry, I've been muddled in my last relationship and am not ready to jump into another. He rarely dropped his teasing demeanor and replied seriously. I know, which is why I've never said anything. Who's bullying my student? A familiar voice came from outside, and I thought I was hallucinating. I jumped up and ran outside. Dr. Enid? Who called you over? Cut that out. I heard you were bullying my student, so I came to support her. Teacher? I ran over and stopped in front of her wheelchair, my voice trembling. Why are you here? You didn't tell me. Don't be afraid, I'll stand up for you. The teacher gently patted me. She looked just like I had seen her not long ago, warm and optimistic. My eyes immediately turned red. The teacher angrily said, don't think that just because I'm old and in a wheelchair, I'm easy to bully. Your student is a student, mine isn't a student? Today, I'm going to use my age to teach you all a lesson. This needs an explanation. My student will always be my pride. She took the hit from me. Where are you hiding? Who do you think you are, to teach my student a lesson? Carter's suspension or dismissal is what you should do. The rest will be handled by the police. A doctor who doesn't even have basic morals doesn't deserve to be a doctor. What do you mean it's for Dr. Betty's sake? That's Carter's personal grudge. Private feelings. It has nothing to do with my student. What's wrong with surgery? What's wrong with gynecology? If we judge a doctor's excellence by whether they can hold a scalpel, that's a huge joke. That day, my teacher, who could never stand again because of a medical dispute, verbally battled with them, fighting off 100 with one. With other doctors' firm attitudes, in the end, Carter was suspended. Before leaving, Carter said to me, Darlene, you're really malicious, I loved the wrong person. This man didn't forget to make a nasty remark before he left. The teacher overheard and frowned. Nonsense, utter nonsense. I was blind to have paired you with Carter. Letting you suffer so much inexplicable pain. I regret it deeply, but the road is still long. Now that it's resolved, move forward and never look back. Facing a mentor who had cared for so much, I finally revealed my softer, more vulnerable, and insecure side. Teacher, if Betty really gets hurt and can't hold a scalpel again, then and the dismissal of Carter will bring him legal punishment. They say I'm being petty. I was lost, am I wrong? But I feel like I'm not, I just want justice. Child, it has nothing to do with you. The teacher smiled, still so gentle and loving. Just like back then, even if I die, it has nothing to do with you. Yeah, what does it have to do with me? If it weren't for my teacher, Dan, and the colleagues who stood by me and encouraged me, I might have been crushed by Carter and those on his side, who thought that just because something happened to Betty, I would end up like my teacher, never able to hold a scalpel again. If it happened again, I'd still unhesitatingly shield my teacher. But Carter and Betty, they don't deserve it. They clearly don't deserve it, yet they still want to leave you with the emotional scars of guilt. A child with good judgment doesn't need empathy. My teacher hugged me. Good girl, be a child with judgment. Don't waste your empathy on anyone or feel guilty. I escorted my teacher out of the hospital building. She suddenly looked back at the towering inpatient tower and sighed with some melancholy. I'm afraid I'll never come back here again. But Darlene, what I want to tell you is this. Whether or not you hold a scalpel, you're still a good doctor. A doctor with integrity is a good doctor. I may not come back, but I'm at the school now, training one student after another like you. After that, things followed their legal course, and I never saw Carter again. Life went on as usual, clinics, deliveries, rounds, writing medical records, and so on. Witnessing births in the obstetrics department, and deaths in other departments. My parents urged me to get married, and Dan officially confessed to me during the spring festival. I had completely forgotten about Carter by then, and I happily agreed. Dan wasn't Carter. He gave me a whole new experience of love. We studied together, grew together. Of course, we argued too. He'd call my brother to mediate, or complain to my parents. He conspired with my colleagues to plan surprise birthdays and even his proposal. Whenever I arrived at the hospital, someone would say, Darlene, can't you control Dan a bit? Whenever he attended seminars or training sessions, he'd bring me local goodies. He bought me lots of jewelry. On our days off, we'd go out, and he insisted I wear them like a jewelry saleswoman. This guy even liked to show off our relationship on Instagram. He'd post everything, even my failed cooking experiments. He once told me, I was the one who liked you first. Who would have thought his momentary hesitation almost made him miss out on a lifetime? Dan hugged me from behind, feeling immensely grateful. He didn't cherish you, but there are plenty of people who will. That day, I had just parked my car when I saw two people struggling in the corner not far away. It was Carter. He's out? He wore a striped shirt, his hair was disheveled, and his face was covered in stubble. He no longer had the spirit of a doctor. I almost didn't recognize him, if not for Betty standing next to him. Betty, why are women always so ungrateful? How cheap can you get? You're really something else, just like that bitch Darlene. Who do you think I quit my job and went to prison for, huh? For who? Was it for me? It was for you. Since Carter got out, he'd been pestering Betty nonstop. She had heard such accusations and complaints so many times that she was numb to them. Let's break up, we should break up. Break up? You think you can just break up? I'm telling you, I'm never letting you go. Where's the money? Didn't you just get a bonus this month? Hand it over. I gave you $5,000 last time, didn't I? It's gone. Hurry up. What are you waiting for? Betty pulled out her wallet, and Carter snatched it, taking out her bank card. What's the PIN? After getting the password, Carter turned and left. Betty, feeling helpless, squatted down with her head in her hands. A car passed by, honking for a long time, but she didn't hear it. I had no choice but to walk over and remind her. Tears streamed down her face. You must really look down on me. A bit. We walked towards the hospital building, with her muttering behind me. How did I end up like this? I was so good, a promising doctor, and I got entangled with a madman. Your future was ruined by yourself. Yeah. She didn't deny it. I must have been bewitched at the time, always thinking of how good things were in school, couldn't stand seeing you two together, and just wanted to ruin you both. I only now understand, the worst thing is competing over a man. Compete over academics, positions, power, money, anything, but never over a man. I wholeheartedly agreed. Men are all just trouble. Sorry, Darlene, for standing on his side back then. Can you forgive me? I shook my head plainly. That's not something you can just forgive, especially not so late. She smiled bitterly. You're right. Then, don't forgive me. If I were you, I wouldn't forgive me either. I'm really, really sorry. I didn't say anything, just smiled at her and walked away. As I entered the hospital, I saw Dan leaning against the wall in his white coat. Enjoy the show? I grinned at him. Yeah, it was great. He smiled helplessly and handed me a red string bracelet. A mini crystal bracelet? How cute. I saw others wearing them and thought my wife should have one too. Dan put it on for me. With this on, all bad things will disappear. End.